Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Network Breakfast. Once again, it's a Tuesday morning. You're darn tooting there, Scott. We should all give him one of these. Yeah. Today we're going to talk about follow-up, the importance of following up on calls, emails, sales you've made, sales you want to make. So we'll go over all of that. But first, we're going to introduce ourselves. And I'm going to start with Jeff Hexter. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Tom. I'm Jeff Hexter with Always Keep Computing. I work with professionals working from their homes who have technology issues and have run out of people to ask for help. And one of my favorite ways to help these people is not in their homes. I am at Jack's Deli every Wednesday from 9 to 11. If you have computer questions or problems, you're welcome to join me for breakfast. I answer questions for free at breakfast at Jack's on Wednesday mornings, 9 to 11. It's at the corner of Cedar and Green. So
that's it. I was going to ask you to for those of us that are watching this from out of town, Jack's Deli's location is where, Jeff?
Cedar and Green Roads.
Okay, Cedar and Green Road. And what city is that?
I think it's South Euclid or something like that.
South Euclid, yeah, South Euclid.
Okay, South Euclid. All right. This way, when folks that are watching this in Terre Haute can come to town, or Gary, Indiana, they can drop by Jack's Deli Wednesday mornings at 9. Jeff is there. He can look at your whatever you bring. So
I have a small group of people that join me every week, and it's a lot of fun.
And I was there once. Yes, a wonderful cadre. Okay, we're going to move on. Thanks, Jeff. We're going to say good morning to Scott Morrison. Good morning, Scott. On the
Good morning,
wedding
everybody.
anniversary.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Morrison, company's Discovery Photo. I am a full-time, full-service photographer, have been for 30 years now. Do everything from legal, corporate, industrial, architectural photography. We do a lot of business headshots, modeling portfolios, and on the weekends, we crash parties. I'm also very active within the local movie industry here. We did 7 movies, or did 5 movies last year, and I have 7 movies that we're doing this year. So that's what I do. Scott Morrison, Discovery Photo, when image counts.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you for being here, Scott. We're going to say good morning and welcome back to Ari Taomi. Good morning, Ari.
Good morning, Beck. Yeah, I was here last week too.
That's why I said welcome back.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ari Taomi. My company is Lasting Impression Direct. We are, again, full-time, full-service printing and direct mail company. We do direct mail campaigns. We have access to very high quality mailing lists, and we print almost everything that is ink or toner on paper. Ari Taomi, Lasting Impression Direct.
Excellent. Thank you, Ari, and thank you for being here. Good morning, Mike Bentley. Let's ask Mike.
Good morning, Tom and everyone. I'm Mike Bentley, and I can assist you with your health care and health insurance questions, whether you're a Medicare beneficiary, ready to graduate to Medicare, you're a dual eligible, you have both Medicare and Medicaid, you're an individual, and you file a Schedule C and you're looking for health coverage for your family, you're a small business, you're a non-for-profit, give me a call and I can guide you and direct you to a solution to your coverage needs. Mike Bentley from the Brooks and Stafford Company.
Very good. Thank you, Mike, and thanks for being here. Now we're going to say good morning to Trina. Good morning, Trina.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, whoever's watching. My name's Trina Gigax. My company's Fresh Eyes Reading. I'm a freelance copy editor, and I do some copywriting. I work on blogs, newsletters, website content, PowerPoint presentations, anything to go over the writing to make sure that it's clear and concise and easy for the reader to get through. That's who it comes. So it's not about your writing, whether it's good or bad, or my editing style. It's all about making it better for the reader. And when it's easier for them to read and they get the message more clearly, it's more impactful and they are more likely to act upon it. Trina Gigax, Fresh Eyes Reading.
Very good. Thank you, Trina, and thank you for being here. Now we're going to say good morning to Chris Walters. He could do his 1 minute, and then I'm going to put up a PowerPoint, and we'll talk through it with Chris. Good morning, Chris.
Tom, you need to go ahead before me.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Tom Basie, and this is, of course, the Network Breakfast. I'm an IT professional. If it has something to do with the computer, I probably do it. So my answer usually is always yes. Whatever it takes, that's what I do. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to say good morning to Chris Walters, and you could do your 1 minute, and then we'll start your presentation, and I'll share the screen and put up what I have. Good morning.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning. Chris Walters with See-Through Windows. I provide vinyl replacement windows, patio doors, also new construction vinyl windows. We cover a territory from Port Clinton to the Pennsylvania border, Cleveland to Canton. I personally go take a look at every job. Within 48 hours, I will email you a quote or call you, and we'll discuss it, and then proceed from there as to what you want to do to make sure that it falls within your budget. Thank you.
Okay. And just so it folds in, Chris is going to continue talking about, we're going to talk about follow-up. And this was prompted by an email from a Windows marketing company, but the advice that they gave was universal. And we'll go over that universal approach to follow-up after Chris discusses his impact of getting this email and suggesting that we actually create a presentation with it. So here is, we're going to do all right. There it is right here. Okay. And the subject of the email was the importance of follow-up. And the email gave 3 questions, and we're going to attempt to answer these and others. If you care to continue on, Chris?
Sure. When I got this, I looked at it, and then I said, I emailed it to Tom, and I said, this is something that we should be doing, or if we're doing it, are we doing it to the best of our ability? When I get a telephone call, it's usually a question about the series or what I do, this type of thing. And then what I will do is I will send them a business card. I will text them a business card, and then turn around and wait 12, or they may either call me back, or I wait the next day and call them to make sure they got it, and then proceed with the following follow-up with the next slide. I think it's the next slide, right, Tom?
Let's just take a look. See if this works.
Okay, this is the gentleman where it came from, to let everybody know that we're not taking anything from stealing something from anybody. This is who it is, and this is the people who sent it to me.
Yeah, and that's Jesse Druck there. More calls, more leads, and his Windows marketing company creates websites and coaches owners of window manufacturers, window sales, retail, wholesale, about how to become truly successful in the Windows business. But the email dealt with things that we all could take advantage of. This is the email. Chris received this email from Window Marketing Pros, April 15th, a few days ago. And the email read, follow-up is key. There needs to be a minimum of 9 follow-up touch points in place over 2 weeks if you can't reach the homeowner. This alone can raise your close rate by up to 22%. Windows Marketing Pros has an automated follow-up system we use with all our clients. When a lead comes in, it triggers, and they will automatically start the 2-week follow-up sequence. If you're going to read and act on one email this week, have it be this one. So they're wanting, in this case, Chris, to take advantage of these marketing techniques, and they sent this along with it. And this is, of course, the importance of follow-up was the subject, and you'll see that on the first contact of the prospect, 50% of salespeople have given up once you get a negative reaction from your contact. Contact 2, 65% of salespeople have given up by the second call. 79% of salespeople have given up in the third call. Now, you'll see on the left, it says you harvest low-hanging fruit. 89% of salespeople have given up on contact 4. So that if you do more than 4 contacts, you're probably going to get much more business. And it said in the previous slide, 22% more. Now, contact 5, just now you're becoming a factor in your prospect's mind. Contact 6, nurturing slowly, your prospect gets to know you, even without having sold them anything yet. Once again, your harvest low-hanging fruit. Contact 7. Contact 8, you are probably the only person to make 8 contacts with this person. Contact 9 says, at this point, when your prospect is ready to buy, you have a 90% chance of being called when they're ready to pull the trigger. And that goes from, we'll see later on, we'll see that goes from 9 through 12, and then they become not a prospect, but now they're a customer. And they sent, this was actually part of the email that we read the previous slide.
And if you sit and think about it, Ari's been preaching this for as long as he's been in this group, that you have to send out, and Ari, I may be wrong, what is it, 6 or 7?
Well, what Ari has said is, if you're going to come to me and have me do 1 mailing, save your money.
Exactly.
Because 1 won't do anything, right, Ari?
Oh yeah, and what I tell people, if you want to do 1 or even 2 or several ones, I would love to do it because this is my business. But my suggestion: keep your money in your pocket. Don't give it to me.
Right.
But Tom, if you go back to that slide, I think Ari says that we should follow clear up to 6. Is that correct, Ari?
Yes.
And this just substantiates what Ari's been telling us for years, that once we get to 5 or 6, the customer becomes ours.
Yeah.
And then the customer now is your customer, and will call you when they need something. And this happens a lot, especially with me, because they think that I deal with a lot of other things, which I do, or I can put them in the right to the right people who do what they're looking for. And at that point in time, instead of a customer, they become like a friend to you, and they'll send you other people, and then you contact them, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see how, Chris, see how true is contact number 5. Just now, you are becoming a factor in your prospect's mind. And if your piece of mail or email or direct mail, whatever, is similar, and they are starting to know you. So it's not, when you get it, it's not from a stranger. It's from somebody you have seen before.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good stuff. Okay.
And Mike, how many times do you have to call someone before they become comfortable with you?
Well, when I receive a lead, and almost all of my business is now based on referrals. So I've got more to keep myself busy than I can actually handle right now. But when I get a call, for example, it's Tuesday. Yesterday, I got 2 referrals from other clients. So I will always reach out and call that person within 24 business hours. So I make a return phone call. And also, if I have their email, I'll send them an email. Thank you for contacting me about such and such. I'll send them an email. Then when I speak with that person on the phone, if they give me, and I always ask for their address. I said, you know, thank you for your call. Could I get a little bit more information from you? I try to get that information right up front before we get into the main purpose of the call. Oh, I'm getting ready to turn 65, or I just lost my job and Cobra's too expensive. I try to get the mailing address. By the time I'm done with that phone call, many times it's even while I'm listening to them, I have a card and a mailer and I'm mailing out to them. So within the first couple of days, they've received a return phone call from me. If I got their email, I'm sending them an email response, thanking them as well. And then a card has gone out in the mail. And then I will usually pen, if I haven't heard back from them, if they're indecisive, usually they're not indecisive. They need coverage by May 1st. So it's something I'm getting to work on right away. But it could be someone who's saying, I'm retiring in September, and it's a little bit too early. So then I'll pend it for a follow-up a week later. So for me, I'm making 3 initial contacts within the first couple of days: phone call, email, and then a mailing.
See, I also do somewhat what you do. When I get a telephone call, I'm looking at the phone number and making sure that this is the number that they're calling from. And as soon as they hang up, I text them my information. And then turn around and send them another text asking if they got it, and then usually at that point in time, they're asking questions, or they'll send back a question, call me in an hour or so, and I will do that. And within 24 hours, I'm going out to take a look at that property.
Yeah. So, for example, I keep a phone log. I don't, I don't do the little slips. I actually have a notebook, and without violating any kind of HIPAA privacy, I'll just sort of keep this at a distance. Well, where are we at here? You see my phone log. So with my phone log, every call that comes in, I log it. And you'll notice that some are highlighted in yellow, Margaret. All of those highlighted in yellow are referrals. Okay, so those are new prospects that have called in. And so I highlight them just to make sure that in my follow-up, the next week, I can go back and make sure that I followed up with everyone that's in a highlighter. I also, in my office downtown Cleveland, not my home office, I have a whiteboard. And on my whiteboard, I put down every name that has contacted me and the date that they need coverage. So if it's going to be something where a person's going to be turning 65 in November, then I'll write like 11/21 beside their name. Or if I'm getting a referral from someone out of state, let's say I get a lot of Florida referrals, I might also put FL beside it. And so every day when I sit down in my office and I look up, I see the whiteboard. So it's just constant reminders, highlighting in my little call book, the whiteboard, just to make sure that I don't let anyone fall through the cracks.
That's a great idea. I've never thought about that. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. And what happens with my whiteboard, when I get the business, I put a big red check mark by their name. So, for example, last year, just for Medicare, I had 74 check marks. So last year, just the Medicare, I wrote 74 brand new referral clients for Medicare.
Very good. Yeah.
Wow.
And then,
Congratulations.
so I can sort of see my my closing ratio, because every name that is called is on the board, but then everyone that I've been able to assist, I've got the check mark, and then I can say, okay, I had 100 referrals to me. I got 100 names on this board, and I was able to close 74 of them, I mean, as an illustration. So that's something I started to do. And Bridget in my office now, she really loved the idea. So Bridget now has a whiteboard as well. So it's a good way to continue to have your prospects and new contacts right before you as a reminder.
That's a great closing rate, 74%.
Well, you got to remember, I'm not prospecting. I'm getting referrals coming into me. So it's not like I'm doing mass mailings and reaching out, target marketing certain groups. I'm just responding to someone who's had a previous contact with me, and now they've told their brother-in-law or their fellow coworker. For example, yesterday I had a call from a lady, 67 years old. She's retiring from a company in Solon. And so I asked her, how did you get my name, if you don't mind me asking? And then she told me, well, it just so happens the president of the company, who is over 65, and his wife, I write them for their Medicare. I also write someone else in the company, and they referred her to me. So I try to make a note as well. And when you get a referral, something else that's very important, you should always reach out and thank that person for sharing your name by virtue of a card, a personal phone call. Most of you who've been around Network Breakfast for quite a while know or remember Doug Bunker. And, Doug, works with Edward Jones, and Doug is always referring his clients to me. And so, it's a common practice for me to call up Doug on the phone and to thank him, to send him a little note, a little card, just appreciating the clients that he sent my way. So that's important as well, making sure you follow up with the people that refer others to you.
Yeah, tell Doug we said hi and we miss him.
Yeah, sure will.
Thank you. I know that a lot of this Jeff Hexter has mentioned. When we get into this, if you can't help somebody, you find somebody who can help that person or that customer, and it bodes very well for you. You're building up trust and you're building a relationship. Maybe Jeff can jump in and provide some. Jeff?
I actually am not as good at follow-up as I need to be, but I am actually doing a presentation about this at another networking event in a couple weeks, but it's specifically about networking follow-up as opposed to sales follow-up, because the goal is actually different between networking and sales. Sales is about getting somebody to go through a sales process and hopefully buy something. And networking is about trying to get somebody, building a relationship. And it's specific to the relationship, not not beyond that, although it can develop beyond that. So
Jeff,
go ahead.
Jeff, if you sit and think about it, and I belong to six groups, and this is where I get my business plan plus referrals. But at these marketing events, I'm not trying to sell myself. I'm trying to let them know what I do. And it sure is easier to let them know what you do instead of trying to sell someone. And that's why, and then follow up after that night that we have the group, then follow up with the people who have contacted you and want more information.
I absolutely agree, but that's the difference between sales and marketing.
Right.
And when you make that division in your head, I've broken down at least 6 different types of follow-up that's what I'm going to talk about in my presentation. And they're actually, I call them checks. And they're the check-in, the check back, the check out, the check off, check in, out, off, back. Oh, I forgot the last 2. One is, and the thank you. They're different types of information that you're sharing or requesting in your follow-ups. But the goal again it's to, I acknowledge that sales and marketing are used and confused, and they're not the same thing. But when you separate them out, when you focus on the relationship and moving somebody through a relationship building process and not just leave off the goal of getting somebody to become a customer, they'll become a customer because you focused on the relationship. They'll become a customer because they see you as an expert. They see you as a partner rather than as the stereotypical annoying kind of salesperson that people who believe that sales are car salesmen that are really bad believe. If you'll give me a second, I'll call up my list so I can have it more accurately in my head.
Yeah, I like the term that you use. I use it a lot, partner. You want to establish a partnership with a client. Now, for me, while you're pulling up your list, Jeff, when people contact me, they already recognize their need. I mean, pretty much, unless you're going to be under the hill rather than over the hill, you have a need for Medicare coverage. So in sales, you're supposed to establish the need. Well, the need is already recognized when a prospect contacts me. What I have to convince them of is their need of me,
right?
Of a professional who will partner with them. So the need for the product is a given. They already recognize that. What I have to convince them of is the need to work with someone like me as a partner.
And that's where the building of the relationship becomes the key.
Yeah, that's correct. And going back to what I was saying before, this about touch points and follow-ups, I always will drop everything and do the card or the email right away, because I'm so busy and sometimes I'm going 100 different ways. If I put it off, I'll forget about it. So when I'm done with that phone call, I'm pulling out my little cards and starting to put the address down, and I'm going on the computer and sending the email right away, because if I procrastinate, they may not get anything from me. So I try to do that right away.
Can I list those different types of checkout, the check-ins, checks, as I call them? There's the check-in follow-up, which I refer to as I'm just checking in to seeing how you're doing. The check-up follow-up, which is the post-interaction touch base. The check-back follow-up, which is it's the reverse of the check-up. It's I've given you a referral. You should be checking back with me to let me know how it went. It's kind of the opposite of the checkup, and it's not often done, but it's really powerful if you do it yourself. The checkout follow-up, which is what I like to use a lot. It's here. I thought you'd find this interesting. Check this out. The check off follow-up, which is, do I check you off my list? Do I take you off of my follow-up list because you're no longer interested or this is not a good time? And the thank you follow-up, which is the basic appreciation note. And I have a note here in my notes about appreciation that it has to be done properly. And that means it's sincere, specific, timely, appropriately personal, and positive. And it's only a thank you. It's not thank you, but I'd love your referrals. It's an expression of gratitude and only an expression of gratitude. If you confuse them, you'll confuse the person you're following up with. And you'll undo the gratitude by confusing it with something else. This is the presentation that I'm going to be doing some of in a couple weeks.
Mike, I think you and I are a little bit alike, because a lot of my stuff comes from referrals also. And they already know what I do or what I sell. So they're calling me because they have a need, and then I've got to provide the information for them to be comfortable with me selling them the product that they actually called me about.
Mm.
And I think that's very, very important. What you said is that you want to become a partner with them, and once you get a call or once you go take a look at something, I've been very fortunate. I'm in that range of about 75% of closing. We did 455 installs last year. So, and most of it is from referrals and customers, repeat customers. So I like what you talked about the whiteboard, because I miss some people, and I will admit that. And that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And the other thing about if they call in and getting their email, when you send them like a follow-up email or thank you for the call, I look forward to working with you in the future, whatever you say, that now provides a second contact means that they might come up with a question. Well, without wanting to call you on the phone, you know, maybe they don't want to have that personal interaction on the phone, but now a question has come up, and you know, my brother-in-law says if I don't enroll in Medicare now, I'm going to be hit with a late enrollment penalty, something like that. Then I can answer that and send them a piece from the government just explaining late enrollment penalty. So, you know, with that call in, getting their email provides not only you with more information and how to reach out to them, going through your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way to 12 touch points, but it also provides for them another way to contact you without maybe talking with you personally.
Wow.
You know, Tom, looking at this list, it's pretty interesting that you go from 2% on the first contact to 5th through 12th, 80%. And it jumps from 4th to 5th drastically, which is pretty amazing, and really enlightening as to why that we're talking about this today.
Yeah.
Chris, that's actually, it says that's the percentage of salespeople who have given up, not the percentage of success.
Oh, okay, got you.
I was looking at those numbers too. When they say their initial email where they talk about how you can increase your sales by 22%,
Right.
that's not, I couldn't figure out the math that they used to create that number.
Okay, got you.
It's not from those numbers.
Okay.
Okay. Here's another graphic that supports what we've been saying. Unfortunately, most salespeople give up after just the first attempt.
That's shocking.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people, or some people have a rough time with rejection. And if you do, then you probably shouldn't be a salesperson or a company contact type person, because you call somebody out of the blue, or even if they've wanted the call and they don't buy, or they don't believe you, or you haven't built up a trust yet, you sort of get wounded. And then when you pick up the phone and dial their number again, you're nervous. You want to say the right things. You don't want them to become an enemy. So that that's where this comes from. You try one time, and if it doesn't work, well, you sort of move on. Well, what do they say with a baseball player? If you hit 3 out of 10, you go to the Hall of Fame. So although that would be a pretty good sales record, wouldn't it? If you called 10 people and got 3 sales.
Right.
But
The Babe Ruth quote, "Don't let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game."
right,
How many times did he strike out?
tons.
Mhm.
But he's one of the few people that was actually a baseball player. He actually pitched a no-hitter
Mhm.
before they relegated him to just hitting.
For the Boston Red Sox,
Yes.
he pitched the no-hitter.
Yeah. And the Yankees paid $50,000 to get him, which in that year, whenever that was, 24 or 25, something like that, was like $1 million. Most of them ball players were making like chump change. They sold insurance and cars in the off season. Anyway, let me see the next one here. I'm sorry, I'm just not ready to yet to buy. And this doesn't align well with the fact that most of your potential customers probably aren't ready to buy yet. Most of them are not ready. But at any given time, 3% of your market is actively buying. 56% are not ready, and 40% are poised to begin. So you want to be there when that happens. By following up, you're there when your prospects are ready to buy. If you follow up with a lead within 5 minutes, you're 9 times more likely to convert them. You don't wait around. You just bang, you do it. Now, what's the other thing say here? 30 to 50% of sales go to the vendor that responds first. Wow.
That's pretty interesting.
Okay, now here, if you care to look at this, I probably should have redone this and get this darkness off of here, but this is an interesting take on what we've been talking about. The yellow or lighter color is after the first call ends and you have the next call scheduled, you do these rules. So that means before you hang up on your customer, if you have a call, have the next call scheduled, then you go through this. The orange one, or whatever color that is, salmon, after the first call ends and you do not have the next call scheduled, you handle this. I'll leave this up for a bit and we could go over what these, it's a very interesting take. If you've made arrangements to talk to them again, immediately send out calendar invites for the next call, immediately send an email, summarize the call you just made, explain what will happen on the next call, tell them that the next calendar invite has been sent, and state that the call and details for the next call will be sent 24 hours prior to the call. Pretty cool. And that's when you have it scheduled. If you don't have your next call, you immediately send an email, which is similar. Summarize the call, explain what will happen on the next call, mention the hurdle that kept you from scheduling the next call. Prospects return from vacation, for example. Say you'll be in touch soon to schedule the next call. So, and then there's another sentence on here, but this is an interesting way and to handle if you haven't been able to schedule the next call, follow on the left. If you schedule the next call, you haven't scheduled the next call, you follow on the right. It's pretty cool take. Okay, now that you have the right information, reach out to your prospects and stop leaving that money on the table. This is Chris Walters' day, and it's the Network Breakfast. And I also, although we're running out of time, I don't have enough time to do this, but I'll read you the title. It was, here are the major 10 reasons describing the importance of follow-up with customers. I'll have to save that for another time because we only have a couple of minutes. And I want to make sure that anybody that needs to leave at 8:30 can. So who hasn't piped up? We haven't heard from,
We haven't heard from Scott.
is he still with us? I don't see him because the list of the,
I'm here. Yes.
okay. Care to pipe in on anything what we've done here, Scott?
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of in a weird business. I get emails, texts, Facebook messages Sunday at 10:30 at night saying, hey, I'm interested in headshots. Hey, I'm interested in weddings. It's whenever it pops in their mind. And I surprise them a lot of times because I'll see it and I'll respond on a Sunday night at 9 o'clock. Say, yeah, I'm available and I'd love to help you out. Let's talk tomorrow. And they're like, wow, I can't believe, that you actually returned that phone call or returned, that message
Wow.
so quickly. And, that's something that it's just really simple. Just, I received your message and I will talk to you tomorrow. But, Sunday at 9 o'clock, maybe not be appropriate to call somebody. So I'll get more information hopefully and follow up. But yeah, it's very important to follow up. I know trying to hire like contractors that I will call 6 of them and get 2 phone calls back, period. And the one that ends up calling and giving a quote or, is always the one that gets it. And, you have to call too many of them. That upsets me. So that's what made me, very active in returning phone calls, making sure that, I get the information out to them if they request information very quickly.
Mhm.
The one thing right now, and I will just throw this out. If you've got a contractor who you're calling and he calls you back and says he can do something within a week or 2, you don't want him, because right now you can't find any contractor that's not out 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 weeks. It's just a zoo out there right now.
Wow.
And the problem of it is, and I don't know how many of you people go into Lowe's or Home Depot or Menards or whatever. Prices have skyrocketed. And I was listening yesterday, a builder was saying that just to frame a house, it's the price from December to today or yesterday, it's gone up 250%. And a piece of plywood, piece of 7/16 plywood went from $8 to $42.
Oh my.
A 2x4 8 was like $1.55, $1.60. It's now $5 to $6.
So that's going to have an impact on new construction, huh?
Oh, it has a tremendous amount of new construction and remodeling. And they were that were listening to this. They were telling these people that they better have a clause in their contract that saying that time of purchase or time of delivery, this is what you're going to pay for the material.
Wow. Man, those numbers are exorbitant.
Well,
Wow.
what's staggering, everybody, all of us use an appliance. I guess appliances have gone up about 50%. Stoves, refrigerators, dishwashers, washers and dryers. That's what they were talking about.
Wow. Everybody's going to be looking for scratch and dent.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So Chris and I both thank you very much for your kind attention. And so that'll do it for our the importance of follow-up. And if any of this stuff interests you, please go on the YouTube channel, The Network Breakfast, and find this particular video. And maybe there's a piece of it you'd like to watch again. And invite your friends to look at it. And please ask your friends and family to subscribe to the channel. That would be real nice. Okay. All right. So for us on the YouTube channel, we're gonna say thank you very much, and we'll see you next Tuesday. And for us here, we're gonna continue talking for a few more minutes. So thank you, YouTubers, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.